So I was recently asked about the circle cutting attachment to the Shopsmith bandsaw, and I don't know that I've ever shown this on this channel, so I thought I'd go ahead and show you how I might use this. Now, first off, to be able to use this, you must have the upgraded aluminum table on your bandsaw, but that's just the start. And this aluminum table was sold separate from the fence, and in order to use the fence, you would get this and a rail that would go on the back. That rail acts as, well, it's a fence rail is what it is. But we're still not there. To use this, you have to have purchased this additional accessory, which is kind of a little outrigger, a little support. Interestingly, this little part, this aluminum extrusion right here, is in essence the same extrusion that's used back here for the bandsaw fence. They did modify it slightly to allow the miter gauge to pass through here, but it is the same basic extrusion. So this is sold separate from the table. The fence was sold separate from the table, unless you got it all as a kit. Then comes the circle cutting attachment. The circle cutting attachment comes in pieces and parts, and you have to understand how all of this goes together in order to use it. I guess I should share with you a little bit of this Rube Goldberg that they've got going on. They've got this specially milled aluminum block that accepts a knob, a set screw, these two crossing rods here, this bolt and washer, which will get bolted through the third hole or the center hole here on the outrigger. There's also a little part here that extends beyond the square rod that accepts our pin. This is the pivot point. Now this can be used in one of two ways. It can be used on top of the stock as a pivot point, and you're going to do that if you're going to be cutting a circle that is anywhere within the diameter of this table. But if you ever get to the point where you want to cut something larger, you can use this, but you mount it upside down and you bring the point from the bottom. In fact, you can even have this mounted way outboard and cut much larger circles. I'm not sure how you're going to support those large circles, but you could. Anyway, this part gets bolted through this hole. And then that's locked in place simply by tightening that bolt. You could make absolutely sure that this is square. It doesn't hurt, though it's not 100% required. But if you get this thing dialed in and it's at a slight angle, if you were to raise and lower it for different size stock, that would change where that point is landing in relation to the blade, which is critical for this to work properly. So go ahead and square it up before you tighten it up. Ideally, you're going to use this with this extension then tucked tight against the table. You know, every little bit of play can add up, and so if I don't have to have this extended any further, I won't. Okay. I've got my stock. My stock is close to square, not exactly square, and it's nowhere near flat, unfortunately. Look at these. Thank you, Lowe's. But I have found the center by just drawing corners, and because I knew that this wasn't exactly square, I just quickly cross-cut it. I measured to see which edge is actually closer to my pivot point, and it is these long edges here. And so what I will do is that will end up going that side against the blade. Then I'm going to bring all this back and bring it into alignment with the tip. Now I have several adjustments I can make, and now's about the time I need to bring you in close. So as you can see, because this is threaded, I can bring the point down. Likewise, I have a coarse adjustment here. I will use this sometimes if I'm needing to exchange out my pieces and parts and I don't want to mess with this. I can move this up and down. It really isn't critical. Now, here's the problem. At this location, as soon as I start to turn, I am going to run into this post. So for this size, I will have to extend this out, make sure that I'm going to clear once we get, well, actually, that's not exactly where it's going to be. It's not going to get quite that wide, about that wide. Ought to do the trick. And then I need to extend this out. And this might seem really rinky-dink and Rube Goldberg, but the amazing thing about this is it works pretty well. We also have a set screw right here that we're going to tighten that's going to bring all of this tightly together, cinches everything up. And then at that point, I can bring this point down. And we're going to penetrate the stock a bit, and that's going to pivot on that point. All right, and we'll lock that in place. For this to work properly, this pivot point needs to be right in line with about the center of the teeth on that blade. And if I hold this on, I'm just kind of eyeballing it straight. I'm off a little bit. I'm off by maybe 1/8 of an inch. And so the way we make that adjustment, now that's an assumption. If my blade has any lead or drift, I might need to change this. And this is why you do this with some scrap before you dedicate it to your actual stock. But I'm going to loosen this, and I can swing that pivot point forward or back. If the pivot point is too far back, it'll make larger circles. If the pivot point is too far forward, is that right? Think about that, Scott. Well, the point is it won't make accurate circles. I got that down. But let's just try this and see what happens. We may have to change this. We will know for sure by the time we get around to this other side. And I need to maybe slide a little closer to my blade. Let's give this a try. Now that's actually pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and back this off here. And let's take a look at our starting point. It doesn't look like it's wanting to dig back in. This is good. Now, I normally sand all of my circles to exact diameter. I do that on the Shopsmith with the disc sander. I've done a video on that. Now, for that jig, I usually drill a 1/4 inch hole here. And so if I use a brad point drill bit, I can drill that 1/4 inch hole first and use the center of the brad point hole with this tip, or I can just use that as my center point to use my brad point. Let's do another. And I'm doing this so that it's got the cup side up. Figure that's a little safer. And we just need to make a mark here, corner to corner. Close enough. And we're going to bring that down. Got to find out where that's going to align best. That looks good right there. And what's interesting about this is it doesn't have to be perfect, but it will give you perfect results. Don't ask me how to explain that. It just works. And let's compare that to our first one. Again, I would get that spot on using the disc sander, but that's quick and easy. Now, if we wanted to cut larger circles, we're going to turn this around a little bit. We'll reconfigure this. That's what I get for setting down my Allen wrench. Just going to drop that down. Oh, I got the head of my bolt in the way. There we go. Drop that down. Tighten that in place. And let's come up this way. All right, so I've just flippity-flopped the parts around. One more thing I need to do is I need to turn my pointer over. That's now going to come from the top, like so. There we go. And I don't have a big piece to cut a circle from, but let's cut an arc in something. So we're going to cut an arc in the top of this piece. Again, we'll find our center of this stock. Figure out where we want to cut this, and then I'm going to lay that on that point. There we go. And we are embedded. Let's tighten things down. Give us a try. So that's a quick and easy way of cutting circles or cutting arcs. If you have any questions, comments, and cheap shots, I look forward to seeing them and responding to them. And in the meantime, make it a great day.